Welcome, truth detectives and real-life drama lovers. This is Secrets Behind the Stars, the home of whispers decoded and mysteries unmasked. Tonight, the Turkish entertainment universe trembled, and the aftershocks are still echoing through every timeline and comment thread. For months, the question has burned: what truly lies behind the public smiles and on-screen magnetism of Cenk and Mahassine Merabet? Is their spark the alchemy of great acting, or a heartbeat they've chosen to guard in the shadows? The guessing games, the grainy photos, the insider hints, none of it ever quite satisfied. And then, last night, live television shattered the glass. A veteran journalist stepped into the spotlight and spoke with a calm certainty that turned rumor into revelation. Before we peel back each layer of that broadcast, remember: subscribe, hit the bell, and if you're ready to go deeper with us, the join button is your passport to the inner circle. You want the truth? You've come to the right place. Cenk and Mahassine Merabet have occupied that rare space where charisma meets credibility. They glide between set and street with the ease of stars who know the camera loves them, but who also understand when to glide out of its reach. From the earliest days of their collaboration, their energy felt charged. Playful looks that lingered a second too long, moments between takes that seemed too tender to be staged. It lit a fire under the public's imagination and kept fans awake at night. Then, finally, the silence cracked on a primetime show that felt like an event in itself. A renowned entertainment journalist, prized for his access and allergic to guesswork, chose this night to speak. In a studio thick with anticipation, he laid out what he called a portrait of reality. He said, without theatrics, that Cenk and Mahassine have been meeting with extreme discretion, scheduling their off-set hours with a kind of deliberate care that doesn't happen by accident. He noted a clear shift in their strategy: where they once didn't mind being spotted, now they seem almost surgically precise in avoiding the lens. To those hungry for a scandal, he offered none. He did not declare an ending. Instead, he painted a picture of a relationship seeking quieter shores. Not distance born of coldness, but closeness managed with intention. He emphasized that the feverish headlines about a split had no roots in fact; they were the noise generated by silence, not the truth behind it. According to him, their schedules are grueling, the glare suffocating, and the cost of every public step is paid with 1,000 takes on the same moment. So they made a choice. They shielded what they value. The journalist relayed whispers from those who live near the circle's center: respect remains the compass between Cenk and Mahassine. They are careful with each other. Tender, even when they refuse to say so. The gossip pages added a layer of nuance: that Mahassine, whose star is rising with relentless momentum, prefers to let her work speak loudly while her heart hums quietly in the background, and that Cenk not only accepts this, he champions it. The idea of a man stepping back so that the woman beside him can step forward? It's not a fairy tale here, it's the rhythm they've chosen. The broadcast hadn't even faded to credits before social media detonated. One corner of the fandom declared victory, insisting it was obvious all along. Of course they were still together, just smarter about how they navigated the gaze. Another corner hardened in its doubts, clinging to the theory that the absence of a public label must mean an absence of the thing itself. Fan pages dedicated to Cenk and Mahassine went into overdrive, splicing old interviews with behind-the-scenes glances, reading body language like poetry, building timelines from the dust of shared glances. The vacuum left by an official statement only fed the speculation machine, and yet, if you looked closely, the logic was simple. When silence is your shield, ambiguity becomes a strategy, not a failure of courage. Crew members, speaking softly and off the record, added their own brushstrokes. They said the two now prefer the quiet of private homes and the company of trusted friends, steering clear of noisy gatherings where every phone is a camera and every laugh could be screen captured out of context. To some, that looks like hiding. To others, it looks like survival. A seasoned columnist reframed it in one sentence: this is not a vanishing act, it's an act of preservation. What blooms in gentle light does not need a stadium. There's another layer to all this, and it's one that those close to them mention with a kind of awe. Their support for each other is not performative, it's practical, daily, woven into the grind of production. When scenes drain her, he is there with quiet humor and a steadiness that keeps doubt off the set. When fatigue hangs on his shoulders, she is the lift, the reminder that the work is good and the day will end. That kind of mutual buoyancy is not a plotline, it's a partnership, the kind that rarely photographs well because it's mostly invisible. But those who have watched them closely talk about the way their conversations flow when there are no strangers in the room. The way their steps align without trying. The way one hand moves and the other seems to know where it should be. And then there are the words they have allowed to slip, the ones that suddenly sound different after last night. In recent interviews, Mahassine gravitated to a refrain: she prefers to live her private life quietly, to give the camera what it's owed and keep the rest for herself. When asked directly about labels, she danced around them with grace. Cenk, in a recent social exchange, wrote a sentence that shook the comments section: "Everything in my life is where it should be." He offered no map, no follow-up, no easy headline. It was a sentence designed to settle, not to inflame, and it worked, if what you wanted was peace. Meanwhile, the digital detectives in the fanbase rolled up their sleeves. They circled photos that seemed to share a horizon line. They noticed 2 posts timestamped an hour apart with the same sliver of sky, the same nickel blue tone in the city lights. No tags. No names. Just a breadcrumb trail left for those who care enough to notice. Are these coded messages, winks sent across the noise? Or are we all reading tea leaves while the kettle is on the other side of town? The beauty, and the agony, of the gray zone is that it invites 1,000 interpretations, and almost none of them can be proven. Industry watchers have started calling what Cenk and Mahassine are doing a tacit agreement. Without putting their connection under glass, they move as a team against the pressures that try to define them. They deny nothing, confirm nothing, and in that space, they've carved out room to breathe. It's a clever calculus: the mystery keeps curiosity burning, but the ambiguity grants privacy. In the past few weeks, Mahassine's social posts have become more selective, sharply focused on her craft and the projects that demand her excellence. Cenk has chosen stillness, fewer uploads, fewer captions, fewer opportunities for the world to draw lines between dots that might not even connect. Together, these choices look less like chance and more like choreography. Whispers from secure sets and closed rooms reinforce the point. In safe spaces, say those who've watched without intruding, they are warm in ways that never feel staged. The little things give them away: the way one finishes the other's sentence and both smile like they promised not to, the way their plans line up across days without a spoken cue, the way trust radiates from silence. Breakup claims wilt in the face of this kind of ease. When you see the gears turning together, you stop insisting the machine is broken. After the show, the journalist who set all this in motion offered a coda that people are already quoting like a lyric. He described their connection as a living bond that refuses to be boxed into a single word. Call it friendship, call it love, call it a private pact: it exists, it breathes, and it does not require a name tag to be real. And that's the line that set off another current in the gossip world. Does love need a label to be valid, or is the label just a comfort blanket for those watching from outside the window? The question doesn't have a tidy answer, which is precisely why it matters. So, Secrets Behind the Stars family, I'm passing the mic to you. Is this strategy of protective silence the secret ingredient to keeping a relationship alive under the hottest lights? Or is the fog of uncertainty unfair? To the fans who invest and care, to the storytellers who sell the dream, to the couple who must navigate the crowd's hunger? If you were in their shoes, would you shout your love from the rooftop or lock it in a room with just 2 keys? Tell us in the comments. Your takes are part of the investigation. If tonight's deep dive helped you see the puzzle differently, don't forget to like, share with the friends who never miss an episode, and consider joining the channel to stand with us on the front line of truth. Subscribe and stay with us, because in this saga, silence has its own vocabulary, and we've learned how to listen. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your heart steady, and stay tuned to Secrets Behind the Stars.